Are you evaluating software composition analysis to get control of open source risk, license obligations, and security vulnerabilities across your codebase? In this review, we take a practical, no-nonsense look at FOSSA, a widely used SCA platform designed to inventory dependencies, enforce license policies, and surface actionable vulnerability fixes directly within your development workflow. By the end, you should understand how FOSSA works, where it shines, what its limitations are, and whether it fits your organization's goals. Let's begin with the core problem. Modern applications rely heavily on third-party packages, often pulled in transitively by your direct dependencies. This creates two classes of risk. First, license risk. Do your dependencies carry obligations such as source disclosure, attribution, notice files, or copyleft restrictions that affect distribution and commercial use? Second, security risk. Do any components include known vulnerabilities with published CVEs that could be exploited in production? Software composition analysis automates the discovery and monitoring of these risks at scale. FOSSA focuses on accuracy and coverage. It scans your repositories to build a full bill of materials, including direct and transitive dependencies, then classifies license terms and maps vulnerabilities. One reason it stands out is ecosystem breadth. FOSSA supports over 500 package managers and languages, so teams working across JavaScript, Java, Python, Go, .NET, Rust, Ruby, and more can standardize on a single SCA workflow. That helps platform teams implement consistent policies across polyglot monorepos and microservices. Integration is straightforward. You connect FOSSA to your version control system, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, or Azure DevOps, and optionally wire it into your CI/CD pipelines. Once connected, FOSSA can run scans on pull requests, commits, or on a schedule. It adds status checks that fail emerge when a policy is violated, and it can post inline comments to give developers immediate feedback. This is critical. Surfacing issues right in the PR encourages fixes before code lands on the main branch, keeping risk out rather than trying to clean it up later. On the intelligence side, FOSSA aggregates vulnerability data from multiple sources, including the National Vulnerability Database and GitHub Security Advisories. It normalizes this information and ties it back to specific package coordinates and versions in your dependency graph. Findings include severity information and references that help you quickly decide whether to upgrade, patch, or mitigate. The platform highlights the minimal safe version you can jump to, reducing the blast radius of upgrades. License governance is a major strength. FOSSA detects licenses across packages and license files and helps you categorize them. Permissive options like MIT or Apache 2.0, weak copyleft like LGPL, and strong copyleft like GPL or AGPL. From there, you define policies. For example, allow MIT and Apache 2.0, require legal review for LGPL, block AGPL in production artifacts, and mandate attribution files for BSD licensed code. Policies can be enforced automatically in CI, so non-compliant code cannot merge without an exception. For legal and compliance teams, FOSSA provides reports to support audits, due diligence in M&A, and alignment with governance standards like OpenChain, ISO, IEC 5230. SBOM generation is built in. FOSSA can export software bills of materials in SPDX or CycloneDX, which are now commonly requested by customers, regulators, and internal risk teams. Having a reliable SBOM means you can respond faster to new 0 days and supply chain advisories because you know exactly which services are affected and where they run. A natural question is whether FOSSA uses artificial intelligence. The platform takes a deterministic, policy-driven approach to dependency discovery, license detection, and enforcement. Where automation helps, such as normalizing license texts or deduplicating vulnerability signals, FOSSA may apply heuristics or machine-assisted matching to improve accuracy. However, there is no dependency on generative AI for critical decisions, which many enterprises prefer for auditability and repeatability. The result is a predictable pipeline with findings teams can trace and justify. What does day-to-day use look like? Developers open pull requests and immediately see checks that pass or fail based on license and vulnerability policies. If a component introduces a high-severity CVE, the PR might fail, with a recommendation to upgrade to a safe version. If a package brings a strong copyleft license into a proprietary repo, the build can block and ask for review. Security engineers use dashboards to track risk posture, total CVEs, affected repositories, license policy violations, and aging vulnerabilities. Legal teams generate license notice files and compliance reports. Platform teams manage policies and integration across services to keep enforcement consistent. Performance and scale matter in large organizations. FOSSA's architecture is built to handle monorepos and many concurrent projects. Scans can be triggered frequently without dragging down developer throughput. Because it supports so many ecosystems, organizations consolidating multiple toolchains can reduce overhead while improving coverage. Data handling is important for regulated environments. FOSSA is a SaaS-first product, and many teams are comfortable sending dependency metadata rather than full source. If you have strict data residency or confidentiality requirements, review the vendor's security documentation and discuss deployment options and data minimization with their team. The key question is what information leaves your environment and how it is protected in transit and at rest. Let's talk about prioritization. Not all vulnerabilities demand the same urgency. FOSSA highlights severity and known exploitability indicators and provides context on the packages that pull in the vulnerable component. It helps you focus on the few upgrades that deliver the biggest risk reduction. Combined with PR checks, this prioritization keeps the backlog manageable and reduces alert fatigue. Pricing varies by organization size and feature needs. Typical enterprise SCA pricing considers developer seats, project count, support levels, and advanced capabilities like custom policies and integrations. Most teams should expect to engage FOSSA for a tailored quote. When comparing to alternatives, Snyk Open Source, Mend, Black Duck by Synopsys, Sonatype Nexus Lifecycle, GitHub Advanced Security, or JFrog Xray, evaluate coverage breadth, policy flexibility, integration depth, reporting for audits, and total cost of ownership including developer time saved. Where does FOSSA excel? It's strong in license governance, broad ecosystem support, and policy-driven enforcement that fits cleanly into pull requests and CI pipelines. It also does well with SBOM generation and compliance reporting. Common friction points include occasional false positives, tuning noise from transitive dependencies, and the learning curve for crafting precise policies that reflect nuanced legal guidance. These are normal for SCA programs and can be mitigated with initial policy workshops and staged rollouts. Adoption best practices include starting in monitor-only mode to baseline findings, building a dependency upgrade plan for a few high-impact services, defining license policies with legal stakeholders, and only then enabling build breakers on critical repos. Pair this with developer education so teams understand why a policy exists and how to remediate quickly. Establish SLAs for vulnerability remediation by severity and automate SBOM exports into your asset inventory. In summary, FOSSA delivers comprehensive SCA with a focus on determinism, policy control, and audit-ready reporting. It integrates deeply with Git platforms and CI/CD, supports a vast range of languages and package managers, and combines curated vulnerability intelligence from NVD and GitHub Security Advisories with dependency-aware fix guidance. If your priorities are reliable license compliance, clear SBOMs, and pragmatic vulnerability reduction embedded in developer workflows, FOSSA should be on your shortlist.